Both my father and grandfather had careers in law enforcement, so at the time I was making career decisions. It seemed like the right thing to do.
For me, it was a little different. I did go to college and get my 4-year degree. I had never thought about being a police officer, and someone suggested it to me based on my personality and thought that I might be pretty good at it. And so I gave it a try, and I really enjoy it, and I wouldn't do anything else. I've been riding since I was about 6 years old. My family had horses, and so I just learned to kind of ride like a cowboy. And when I got a little older, it was a little more structured, and I did some show jumping. And being in the horse business costs a lot of money. You have to pay to board them, you have to pay to feed them. So when I came here and I found out somebody might actually pay me to ride a horse, then that's really what I wanted to do, and I've loved it.
My family got horses when I was 16, so I started riding a little bit for just pleasure riding. A position came available with the police department, and I thought it would be a challenge and something that would be pretty fun to do. So I took the spot, and several years later, I'm still riding.
When you come to the mounted unit, we start a program that's done mostly in-house, taught by the other riders who've been here for a while. The program was started with our first mounted officer, which was Officer John Weinkauf, and I believe he started in about 1989. And he designed a program that would help us not only be good riders, but be good mounted officers. Because as a mounted officer, you have to do more than just ride the horse straight. You know, you have to be able to handle things on the side and handle the horse at the same time. So you start out without a saddle, without reins, and you really just learn your balance and get your seat, and you build from there. Then you learn to do the mounted functions. We do everything from on top of the horse that you can do on the ground except for transport the people. We handcuff them, we search them, we sometimes have to arrest people. In order to do that, you have to be able to multitask by handling your horse, holding your balance, as well as complete the task at hand. So I pretty much learned everything from my partner here, Officer Watts. He pretty much trained me, and we've trained some riders since then.
And a lot of the training also carries into, once we do our training, in the barn, kind of in a closed setting, and we work the street, it takes the officer a while to kind of, the horse and the rider have to kind of build a trust and a bond, and so that takes a while. It's usually about a year before the officer and the horse can really, I feel like, be an asset and do their job well, learn each other's cues and what you're good at, what you're not good at. So it's a learning experience even after you leave the training setting of the barn.
It's a trust issue. You and your horse have to totally trust each other, because you're asking him, I say that because all of our horses are male, to go into situations that they normally would never go in by themselves, but they're trusting you to not lead them to a place that's going to get them hurt.
It's not something you just get when you go out there your first time. It takes a while to really learn how to, to balance the two, because you got to think about, the horse is a prey animal, and so he's naturally going to be more reactive to things that the average person is not going to react to. A bus going by, a bag, blowing in the wind. All these are things that horses see and react to a lot of times well before you see them. So you have to be aware. What's traffic doing? What's the skateboarder doing? What's going on? And you have to watch that, and then you have to do all the functions of police officer. You have to be able to do your job. So it can be a challenge if the horse wants to pay attention to something over here and you're paying attention to something over here. It can be difficult, and that's the challenge that a new rider has to figure out.
Respect is a unique and sacred bond that we share with others. Only you can give it, and only you can take it away.
Respect can't be broken because you can't replace respect very easily. So again, once that's taken away from you, it's very hard to get back.
Respect is in the way that you care for someone, the way that you love them, the way you care for them, the way you value their opinion, regardless if you agree with them or not.
Respect should be given to anyone, no matter what they look like or who they are.
Respect begins with self-respect, and we demonstrate that in how we carry ourselves, how we treat others, and how we allow others to treat us.
You give respect, you gain respect. Respect can be handily given, and it can be taken away. It's your choice. It matters.
That's the kind of stuff I was telling you about, you know, just especially with him, he's a little bit high strung. So the bus thing, he'll worry about that for a couple hours and he'll be over it. But that's the first bus he's encountered since he got downtown, so that's where you get that little dance that he did.
Or at night, working nights, we sit here a lot, like, not a lot, like if we want to take a break, we'll sit here because you can see a lot of Front Street, the bars and stuff.
So the typical day consists of coming in, feeding them, grooming them. First thing is the care and maintenance of the animal. That always comes first, and that's a portion of our day is devoted to that. 7 days a week, twice a day. You know, the mounted officer's responsible to do that. So if you're sick one day, you know, somebody's either got to cover you or you still have to come up here and take care of them. If it snows, if it's icy, whatever, somebody's got to get up here and take care of them. You come in and there's maintenance, fence maintenance. Whatever can occur, you have to take care of that before you can be a police officer.
You want some hay? Huh? You want some hay? Well, come here. He was a good partner, and like good partners, we trusted each other, we got along pretty good. Sometimes we'd fight. But if you notice at the bottom is the term Kemosabe, and it means trusted friend. And I guess that's pretty much what it was. When I bought Jubal, I was approached by Captain Bradshaw, and we talked back and forth how good it would be just to have a horse, a mounted unit, so people could see it. It would be good public relations for the police department. We talked about it until about 1988 in December, and we had the Wilmington Candlelight Tour coming up. I said, well, Captain, if we're going to do it, we need to do it and see how it's going to go. That would be a nice laid-back event to see how he'll do. The switchboards at City Hall and the police department lit up. They loved Jubal. And people did, because I had worked downtown on that stretch 2 or 3 years. And one day Captain Bradshaw called me in and asked me how it was going. I don't think it's going well at all. He said, well, what do you mean by that? I said, well, I ride by on Jubal and everybody's going, hey Jubal, and Officer, what's his name? I said, I've been down there 2 years, they don't know me. Jubal's been there 3 weeks and everybody downtown knows his name.
Well, right now we have 3 horses, and because they're prey animal, they kind of have like a pecking order, if you will. There's one horse that's the boss, and then they kind of fall into line below there. So the white horse Comet, you know, he's the boss. He kind of tells everybody what to do, and he's been the boss as long as I've been on the unit. I think there's been some switching power among the years, but right now he's currently the boss. So there's things you got to do in order to honor that boss. You know, when it's time to bring him out of the pasture, he needs to go first. He needs to come first and eat his food, because if not, he's going to take it out on whatever horse is left in the pasture. The horse I ride, Elton, unfortunately, he's at the bottom. He's kind of been at the bottom ever since he's been here. So when we first got him, he kind of had some cuts and bruises for a while until they accepted him. So, you know, he kind of goes last, and that's just the way it is.
They do kind of have distinct personalities, and it does come out at work in their job. And they're just like people in a lot of ways. I mean, you know, we all have certain things we're good at. We all have certain things we're not so good at. One horse might be clearing a crowd, and the other horse might be running away. You know, so it can be funny at times.
It could also be very frustrating. Maybe you've been riding a horse for a while. I know Officer White's horse decided he didn't like manhole covers for a little while, and he's probably been walking over manhole covers for, you know, 5-6 years, but there for about a month when everyone came by. I don't know if he thought something was going to jump out of it and get him, but he would not go near them. And Officer Watts was very frustrated because he knew that this is something he did every day. He eventually got over it, and we don't really know why.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of the challenges. I mean, but it is funny, and it can be funny. You know, one horse doesn't trailer well. He tries to get out of the trailer. One horse doesn't tie well. He tries to escape. Yeah, so they're all challenges in their own little ways.
So when I think of trust, I think of people who honor their word, who are respectable people, who follow the rules, and you can depend on them.
Trust is a common bond created when you have given someone your complete word.
Trust comes over time. Trust is earned. And when we all trust one another and can depend on one another, we can get so much done.
Trust is saying, I will be vulnerable with you. And I'll let you inside me and see the innermost parts of who I am.
If I trust you with all of me.
Trust is putting your faith in another person to protect your interests, to keep you safe, to honor the respect that you give them.
Be there and be counted on. That is trust. And when people know that they can trust you, you'll go a long way in life.
Police work is dangerous, and you are going to get sent to dangerous situations. Any police officer is going to have to respond to a dangerous situation, and that's the reality of law enforcement. But with me, and with most officers, you go, you do your job, you're professional, and you go home. And I had the opportunity to work with the mounted unit. Last year we went to Washington, D.C. to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial. It was an honor to see, to represent the families who have lost police officers, and to see that. And that's real life. That those officers aren't coming home. So that's the reality, is that some officers are not going to come home. You don't realize how many officers have died doing this until you go see that. So to me, it's something very serious. I was glad to be able to go up there and honor that and represent the department and be there for the families who have lost officers.
I didn't have the honor to be able to go up there. I wasn't currently riding at the time, but I know the cooperation that goes into that, and I think that when you see that, just the camaraderie of it all, that you talk about the brotherhood of police work, and that's true. You're in a whole nother state, a whole nother place, in our nation's great capital, and there you are with all these people riding side by side, and all with the same goal.
You realize that in police work it is dangerous, and there's a likelihood that you could get hurt or killed. But you never put that at the forefront of your mind. That has to be at the back. You can't walk around tiptoeing on eggshells. You are the police, and at times you have to act. And I have other friends in other departments that have died or in line of duty. It's never an easy thing to talk about, but again, it's something that you're aware of, but you can't govern your tour of duty. You can't govern your life by the fact that it is very dangerous. It can be very dangerous out there. It's not a job, it's a calling. And it is very challenging, and it can be very trying. It can be it can get on your nerves, it can wear you out. And the only thing I say is lean on each other and just try and do the best that you can. And that's all anyone could ask of you.
And our horses here, you know, they're a good PR tool for us. You know, there's one daycare downtown that we ride by all the time, and they learned all the horses' names. So it's just kind of nice and makes you smile when you're walking across the street and they're like, hey Comet, hey Crescent. So they remember that. So if it's just a little bit more that I'm on a horse to help people remember me, then that's okay. I'm gonna be okay with that. Oh, we got Jimmy John's. Are we too far away from that place you were talking about in the South, Zero Block of South? Huh?
Oh, no. Yeah, I really wish I could.
See, there's some drama right there.
I really wish I could give you some better footage instead of us just deciding where to eat.
Told him to watch.
Huh?
You're gonna have to stop.
Y'all making me laugh.
Killing me
The
now,
camera's
man.
shaking. All right, stop making me laugh.